Welcome everybody to our monthly town hall meeting. Today, the topic of discussion is accessibility in workforce. My name is Darlene Lopez and I will be your host for today. We also have some other guests with us today, and those are Eric Rivera, the Quality Assurance Analyst for the Adult and Dislocated Worker Programs. We also have Eric Badia, who happens to be a native to New Mexico, that has worked across the state in serving the citizens of New Mexico in a variety of capacities, to include higher education, as a business instructor with Eastern New Mexico University. He is currently the program manager for the New Mexico Division of Vocational Rehab, also known as New Mexico DVR, in Southwest New Mexico, and is focused on assisting people with disabilities in reaching their career goals. We also have Mary Gandara, and she is the program manager for our Southwestern area WIOA youth program. Mary is knowledgeable and working directly with the participants in their workplace and supervisors to develop successful employment outcomes through the WIOA youth program program's work experience element, including participants with disabilities and other identified barriers to employment. We also have Susana Santillan, and she is with the New Mexico's Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing, community advocacy specialist at the Las Cruces office. Susana has a long history of serving individuals who are deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf and blind. Before coming to NMCDCH, she was the deafness resource specialist for Voller Center for Independent Living, the deafness resource specialist for Communication Service for the Deaf, CSD, and served in the University of Texas as at the El Paso UTEP Disabled Student Services Office. The UTEP Center, or Accommodations and Support Services, presented and the community member Diamond Amigo Award to Susana in October of 2015. Susana is a trilingual in English, Spanish, and ASL, proud mother of 4 adult children, to whom one is a deaf-blind adult with Usher syndrome. Due to her daughter's deafness, Susana has been involved in the deaf community for 35 years. In her free time, Susana teaches basic sign language classes and interprets the Spanish Mass in America and American Sign Language at her parish. Serves in the following committees: Southwestern Area Workforce Development Board, Disabilities and Monitoring Committees, that was from February to present, and the City of Las Cruces Americans with Disabilities Act Advisory Board, September 2016 till present, and elected, she's the elected secretary, and then also a member of the Local Behavioral Health Collaborative in Las Cruces, and that was from October to present. So those were some bios of the folks that are with us today. We have a very strong group here that will be able to answer your questions. So please use this opportunity to be able to speak to them, to get your questions answered, because we have a huge knowledge base right here. So as we get through this, we just want to make sure that we go over just some basic housekeeping stuff, and just make sure that you understand how everything's going to work today. So some of the housekeeping items are this town hall is being recorded. Closed captioning is available at the bottom of the screen, and you can adjust that, adjust the text size to small, medium, or large for your convenience. The audio and video functions for attendees are not available, but you can use the chat function or the Q&A box to ask questions or make a comment. To ask a question, type your question in the Q&A box and click send. If the host replies via the Q&A, you will see a reply in the Q&A window. The host can also answer your question live or out loud. You will see a notification in the Q&A window if the host plans to do this. And a few more items. We also, we will not address any specific questions. So please don't enter any personally identifiable information or reveal details of a particular case in the chat or Q&A. This is strictly to protect your privacy. Any questions not answered during this event will be included on a landing page at employeenm.com within 72 business hours from this town hall. If you are having difficulty joining the town hall, please email us at contact-us@employeenm.com. So with that being said, get ready to learn. So the first person that we have with us today is Eric Rivera. He is the Quality Assurance Analyst with our WEOA Adult and Dislocated Worker Program. And I will go ahead and bring Eric to the floor for him to do his intro and get started with his presentation. Eric?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Darlene. Good morning, everyone. As Darlene said, my name is Eric Rivera. I am the Quality Assurance Analyst for the Adult and Dislocated Worker Programs. If you're wondering what Quality Assurance Analyst means, it means I look at paperwork all day and make sure it says what it's supposed to say. I'm also in charge of developing procedures to meet our local policies. Let me go to the next slide. So what I'm going to do today is cover some of the basic services that the Adult and Dislocated Worker Programs provide, and how we utilize them to meet our job seekers' employment goals. So one of the most important things that we do are called supportive services. So we can utilize our funding to remove a host of barriers for people trying to enter employment or retain their current employment or advance in their current employment. One of the things that we could do is cover childcare for individuals in training programs. We can also cover transportation in various ways. We can help with auto repair. We can do passes for public transportation on up to a 30-day time frame. We could do mileage reimbursement if you're traveling to a training site that's 25 or more miles from where you live. We can cover a host of different testing fees, application fees, certificate fees, licensing fees. We can help people get driver's licenses, state ID cards, and birth certificates. We can help with various medical services, including small patient care charges, assistive technology, hearing aids, eyeglasses. If an employer or a training provider requires other sort of medical testing, we can also help with that. We can provide access to laptops and internet service, so we can actually help pay monthly internet bills during a period of training. We can help with interview clothing, uniforms, tools that are required for employment or training. So that can be anything from somebody going to work in some sort of construction field, getting hammers, electric drill, all that good stuff, to individuals going into the healthcare field with their stethoscope, shoes, scrubs, all kinds of different stuff. So this just covers a little bit of the supportive services that we can provide, and there are plenty more. One of our most popular and the most common training program that we can help with is just going to post-secondary education. So we could provide tuition assistance with something called an ITA, or individual training account. We could provide up to $4,000 in tuition assistance for anyone pursuing a short-term certificate. So that could be a CNA or something like that. That tuition assistance can cover not only tuition, but also books, other fees, and supplies that are charged directly from the school. If you need supplies that the school doesn't provide directly through them, that's where our supportive services come in. We can also provide funding for associate's degrees for up to $3,000 per program year, with a total lifetime maximum of $9,000. We can also provide up to $15,000 for people pursuing bachelor's degrees as well. So in order to be eligible for our tuition assistance program, a student has to apply for FAFSA first. So what we do is we cover the gap between what federal student aid provides and what the tuition and books and stuff actually costs. So we come in, if it doesn't cover everything, that's what we can help with. The training program that you're in has to be on our approved provider program, also known as the ETPL. We handle all that stuff. We have a list of all the different training programs that are on that list. The majority of the schools in our region are actively participating in our program. So they have the majority of their programs on that list. And then you have to be pursuing what's called an occupation in demand. So if we can say that the training program that you're in is leading to an occupation that has a certain number of projected annual openings, so that's just based on projected labor market information for how many people are expected to be sought for those positions over a 10-year period, then we can fund that particular program. So there are actually plenty of occupations that meet this category. So we have a lot of different options. Thank you. We also have what's called the on-the-job training program, or OJT. So this helps us match individuals with direct full-time long-term employment. So if somebody is, say, based on their job skills, about 80–85%, for the sake of argument, ready for a certain position, and an employer is hesitant to hire that individual because of the time it will take to train them up to where they need to be, that's where we come in. We can reimburse an employer up to 75% for that person's wages for up to 6 months, around 960 hours. Sometimes for a little bit more technical positions, the hours can be a little bit more than that. But that's a massive benefit to the employer. They get that reimbursement on a monthly basis. The job seeker can have a little bit a better chance of getting a job that their skill, they have a little bit of a skill gap in, and helps close that skill gap and further propel them through their career. We can also then repeat the contract for that individual if they get promoted. So if they move to a different position, get an increase in pay, and have to learn new skills, we can then do an additional on-the-job training and continue to that reimbursement for that employer for an additional set of hours and up to 6 more months. We also have a program called Transitional Jobs, which is very similar to this, but it's actually not necessarily designed for long-term employment or even full-time employment. It's meant to take people who've had inconsistent work histories or significant barriers to employment, prove that they have reliability, and give them some work history. And that with that program, we actually reimburse the employer 100%. So there isn't an obligation on the employer's part to retain that individual, but it does give individuals a lot of skills, and it gives them a chance to show that they have the ability to, work in an environment, and it can lead to full-time positions. And that's our goal, is to help people go into that long-term employment. So that's about all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eric. Wonderful, wonderful program, lots of opportunities. And we will have a questions and answers segment after the presentation. So we'll get to those, I promise. I know there's lots of questions, but we will be moving on to our next presenter, who is Eric Padilla. He's the Program Manager for New Mexico Division of Vocational Rehab. Eric?
Thank you, Darlene. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Padilla. I'm the Program Manager for Southwest New Mexico for the New Mexico Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. Next slide, please. So NMDVR, we're a federal/state government agency. And our mission is, we're also under the workforce system. So we're considered a core partner under the workforce system. Our mission is is to offer unique services to individuals with disabilities for the express purpose of assisting them in achieving an employment outcome. This includes individuals with disabilities needing support in regaining, maintaining, or advancing in employment. What services are available? Well, NMDVR can provide a variety of different services to individuals with disabilities in assisting them with achieving a career goal. These services are based on the individual's career goals, their strengths, resources, priorities, concerns, abilities, capabilities, and interests. Next slide. Now there's a wide variety of services that DVR can offer people with disabilities that are wanting to seek employment. And it's easier to talk about what we can't do than what we can do, but I'm still going to highlight some of these things that are listed here as well. So the things that DVR can't assist with is we can assist with purchasing vehicles. We're not able to assist with long-term medical expenses because that's mainly what Medicaid, Medicare is for, and other health insurance programs. We can assist with long-term housing unless an individual's in a training program. For instance, if they're going to college, we can assist with housing while they're in school or at a trade school. But for long-term housing outside of a training program, we wouldn't be able to assist with that. We can assist with paying for any deposits, let's say for housing, utilities, anything of that nature. And then the other thing that we can assist with is purchasing real estate. So any kind of real estate investment, DVR can't assist with that, but pretty much anything else that you can think of that would be tied to a specific employment goal or career goal, we can provide some type of monetary services or assistance for. And some of the highlights that I wanted to point out is definitely training. Most of our funding and services that we provide go to helping people obtain the credentials that they need to be able to reach their employment goal. For instance, if they need a certain type of degree to reach their career goal, we can assist with those costs. Or maybe they need licenses or certifications. Those are things we can assist with as well. We do also provide transition services to students with disabilities from the ages of 14 to 24 is the range within transition. And we work with all the local high schools throughout Southwest New Mexico. We also assist with job placement assistance and providing of job coaching, which is a one-on-one assistance and training an individual while they're on site in order to be able to perform their essential functions of the position at the level that the employer expects. We also assist with supported employment for those that are allocated and receiving DD waiver funds. Also rehab technology, like Eric Rivera mentioned too, hearing aids, any type of assistive technology to include vehicle modifications and any other equipment, tools, maybe someone is needing to be able to participate in employment, auto repairs, fuel, bus passes, etc. So those are some that I wanted to highlight. And then on the next slide, there's some additional services as well. One of the things that DVR is also able to provide within New Mexico that's not the same across the country is that we do have benefits advisors to help guide participants that are receiving Social Security benefits. That way they can make the best decision for them in regards to whether or not employment is the best option. 100% of the time I've seen participants that are able to work and that do want to work, they actually earn more by working at least part-time and being able to maintain their benefits. So that's where the benefits advisor comes in to be able to answer any individual questions that that person may have. That way they can make the best decision. We also assist with self-employment. So individuals that do qualify to be able to pursue the self-employment route, if they want to start their own business, we can assist with guidance and even funding to be able to provide whatever they need to be able to start their business. We also assist with interpreter services, driver's training, and the list goes on and on, essentially. So who's eligible for DVR services? To be eligible, you must have a documented disability. You must want to pursue employment of some type. You have to be 14 or older. And then you have to have a minimum of a work authorization to work in the US. So you don't have to be a US citizen. As long as you have a work authorization, you can, and meet the other qualifications there, then you are able to apply for DVR services. And then to apply for DVR services, you can call your local DVR office for assistance, which we're happy to help assist with completing the online referral form or answer any questions that you may have. You can also go online to the link that's listed right there. It's referral.dvr.nm.gov. And then there's also a QR code there, which you can scan and take you directly to the referral link. We do have 4 offices within Southwest New Mexico, and these are the various offices that are available to serve individuals within those communities. Right now we are teleworking still. Our offices are not fully open to the public. However, you can call those numbers and those calls will be routed directly to staff that are working from home. Also, there's our website for additional resources and information about DVR, and then also my email. So if you have any questions or need any assistance, please give us a call. We'd be happy to assist you.
All right, thank you so much, Eric. Once again, an abundance of information, lots of resources, and we will get you an opportunity to get those questions answered about that part of the program as well here in just a bit. So we're going to bring our next presenter to the floor, and that's Vanessa Gomez with our WIOA Youth Program. Vanessa?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vanessa Gomez, and I'm the business practitioner for the Southwestern WEOA program. And we can go. So what is WEOA Youth Services? So we're under a Title I of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which we deliver a comprehensive array of youth services to focus on out-of-school and in-school youth within the community. With one or more barriers to employment to prepare for post-secondary and employment opportunities, we attain educational or skills training credential and employment with career promotional opportunities. So who qualifies for WEOA Youth Services? Out-of-school youth right now is ages 16 to 24, not attending any school and or more of the following: school dropout, a youth within the age of compulsory school attendance that has not attended school within the recent complete school year, a recipient of a high school diploma or equivalent who is low income, an offender, a homeless individual, child or youth, or a runaway, an individual in foster care who has aged out of the foster care system or left foster care for kinship guardianship, an individual who is pregnant or parenting, individual with a disability, or anyone who, any youth that is a low-income individual who requires additional assistance. The 14 youth elements of WEOA were provided directly or indirectly through partnerships. So the out-of-school youth ages 16 to 24, tutoring, we offer tutoring, study skills training, instruction and dropout prevention, alternative secondary school services or dropout recovery services, paid and unpaid work experience, pre-apprenticeships, internships, or on-the-job training skills. We offer occupational skills training. We offer education offered concurrently with workforce preparation activities, leadership development, community service, supportive services, adult mentoring, follow-up services up to 1 year after the participant has exited our program, comprehensive guidance and counseling, financial literacy education. We also offer entrepreneurial skills training, labor market and employment information, and post-secondary education and transition services. So in addition to the WEOA youth elements, youth services include individualized assessment, case management, family support and engagement, and navigation to community resources. And some of the documents that are needed to get started up with our program would be Social Security card, a state ID or driver's license, birth certificate, proof of income, selective services for any male ages 18 and up, or a school withdrawal form if they are out of school.
All right, thank you so much, Vanessa. And again, we'll get all of those questions here in just a bit. And before we bring up our next speaker, we're gonna take a quick little pause so that we can have a little bit of engagement with our audience. So we're gonna get a poll question out here. So let me get that set up. Okay, so you should see a window pop up here in just a second in the middle of your screen where you can answer a question for us. And we will share the results with the group as soon as everyone has answered. So let me go ahead and launch that. And we are there. It's just one question, so real simple. Take your time, but it's just one question. So we should, let's see, we are at 50% already. Okay. We're 83%. And some folks are still voting or answering. Okay. We're still at 83%. If anybody's having any trouble or not seeing the question, please drop a message in the Q&A or in the chat. Okay, I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds. There's a few of you that have not voted. All right. I am going to go ahead and end this. All right. So it looks like 60% of you did know what NMCDCH stands for. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on into our next presentation, which is from NMCDCH. And so Miss Susana Santillan will be coming to the floor to take her time here to present to you guys on this information. And for those of you that maybe didn't know what this means, you're going to learn a little bit about that now. Susana?
Yes, thank you, Darlene. Good morning. Like you said, my name is Susana Santillan, and I'm the Community Advocate Specialist at the Las Cruces office. I will be providing you information regarding the State of New Mexico Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. That's what NMCDCH stands for, New Mexico Commission for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. Our agency promotes services for individuals who are deaf, deafblind, hard of hearing, and speech disabled throughout New Mexico. So I'll be telling you more information about all our services. Our next slide, please. We assist consumers with advocacy services on an individual level and system level to request reasonable accommodations for those who face communication barriers. We provide free presentations to guide and educate the community on hearing loss awareness with topics that include hearing loss sensitivity, effective communication, American disability law, and much more. There's a lot of presentations that we serve that we can give that are free. We also provide community resources or information and referrals such as, such as where to find sign language interpreters. If you want to learn sign language, American Sign Language, where to get American Sign Language classes. If you need financial assistance for hearing aids at a discount price. If you need a discount to obtain a phone service at a discount price through New Mexico Lifeline. And we also have one of our popular programs that is very popular with the community is the Telecommunication Equipment Distribution Program, which that program provides free technology, assisted listening devices that assist individuals with communicating better through the phone or to be able to hear better with a conversation with any assistive devices that they need. All our services are free, are provided free. All you need to do is give me a call and I'll be providing my contact information at the end on chat as well. So if you have any questions regarding advocacy services, especially if you're working and you need to have that accessibility at work, and you're having problems with advocating for yourself, you're welcome to contact me and I'll be happy to assist you with educating the community, to educating your employer about how to better assist you and have a better job environment for yourself as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that, Susanna. So as we said, we would have an opportunity for questions, and we are officially in that piece now. So just as a reminder to use the chat function or the Q&A box to ask a question. And again, we will not address any client-specific questions, so please don't enter any personally identifiable information or reveal details of a particular case. And this is just, again, to protect your privacy. So I am going to check in here. I know that we had something. Let's see. Oh, I think these were answered. Okay, so we'll move on. So let's see, the first question is, what if I already have a job, but I'm struggling to keep up because I need accommodations? Can anyone help with that?
Yes, individuals in need of advocacy services are assigned to a community advocate specialist who will provide a one-on-one services to the client until the issue is resolved. The community advocate specialist, which I am one of them, will advocate for effective communication access and coordinate services through agencies to alleviate issues.
Perfect, thank you. The next one is, my student has a disability and really wants to work. However, employers are hesitant because they don't know how much accommodating they are required to do. Can someone counsel my student on how to proceed? I would also like to know.
Yes, Darlene, absolutely. We can provide information to employers in regards to awareness and education on how to go about the interactive process for accommodations. And we can also assist the student with further guidance on self-advocacy, which is one of the 5 core transition services under WIOA.
Thank you. The next one is, I don't meet the requirements for the youth program, but I want help getting placed in an entry-level job. I don't have any work experience, but I do have a certificate as a dental assistant. Can someone help me get placed even though I do have some developmental delays?
Yes, absolutely. The Adult and Dislocated Worker Program can help anyone in find employment in the fields that they either have training or are interested in. And if that individual doesn't have a lot of work experience, then perhaps a transitional job would be the best service for them. But we also have supportive services that can help. And even if they don't enter in one of our training programs, we could still work to help with job placement as well.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so the next one, I am 19 and I want my high school equivalency, but I need help. The tutoring at the community college is good, but it's not enough. I just need a lot of support.
So the youth services here with the WEOA program, we can help them get started if they want to have tutoring. And once they're enrolled in the program, we can assist them with tutoring and anything else they may need.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, the next question is, where is someone who is waiting for the DD waiver supposed to go to get help finding a job or getting training in the meantime?
Well, we can help with job placement, as I said before. We do focus primarily on long-term employment, but we can definitely help somebody find a transitional job as well.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, the next question is it possible to get help from all of these programs at the same time?
Yes, actually, any program, all of our programs are federally funded, and so that would mean that an individual can apply for all programs that they're eligible for, and as long as they're meeting those eligibility requirements for the programs, then there's a very high chance that they would be eligible for multiple programs within the system, more likely than not.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next one. Okay, all I need to be able to get a job is a better hearing aid. My insurance just got me one, so I don't qualify for another one until next year, but it's just not working that well for me. Are there any programs that can help me get one, either free or very low cost?
Yes, New Mexico Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing provides consumers what we call the NMCDCH fact sheets. And one of them is financial assistance for hearing aids, which has a list of entities that help people with limited resources to obtain quality hearing aids at a reduced cost.
Wonderful. Okay, the next one. Even though I am a veteran, I seem to be having trouble finding the kind of job I am looking for, and I know that my injury is a major reason. Do any of these programs help veterans secure employment and help to advocate for them with the employer? I am a reliable hard worker. I just want the chance to prove it.
That's actually a great question. And yes, we can go to work to advocate for that individual. In fact, in the adult and dislocated worker programs, veterans do receive priority of service. And it's one of those situations where, as Eric stated previously, we can co-enroll in many of our programs, and we can work together as a team to help advocate for that individual.
Perfect. Okay, what kind of services are available for young adults who need work experience but have developmental delays or need special accommodations in order to perform their tasks? And that one might be kind of a question for everybody, because I think you guys all have something that you might be able to help with there.
For the youth program, we're able to help them with accommodating them with a work experience, depending on their needs. So that would be on a case-by-case basis, but the youth program can help with that as well.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to add, there may be a possibility where assistive technology is needed for any type of accommodations, which DVR can assist with too. Some of the things we've assisted with in the past is possibly some what we call CPEN exam reader for those with dyslexia. It helps them be able to not take as much time to be able to do homework and to be able to understand what they're reading. Also, drag and dictate software is also very helpful. But on the employment side, the job placement assistants and job coaching assistants can definitely assist any youth with disabilities that are looking for employment as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, the next one, do we have to go through DVR first in order to get help from any of these other programs?
That's also a great question. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, no. We work as a team, and there is no correct first point of contact within any of the workforce programs. And we will work with referrals to provide services. If I can't provide it, or adult and dislocated worker can't provide it, then we're going to work with all of the partners, both here on the call and other partners, to provide all the services necessary to meet somebody's employment goals.
Thank you. Eric Padilla, did you have something to add?
Oh no, Eric said it perfectly, so.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, next one. I recently lost all of my hearing and I need an interpreter. But if I want to get a job, I don't know how that is going to work, needing an interpreter all day long. Any suggestions from the group?
Yes, I've had a client before that needed an interpreter at work, but here, according to the question or the comment is, they're saying that they recently lost their hearing. So first we need to find out if what's the need, the accommodation the person is inquiring or requesting. Is he or she need a sign language interpreter because they sign? Do they sign fluently? Do they prefer to use an assistive listening device? We need to find out what effective communication is best for that individual. If they need a sign language interpreter, as it mentions there, then you might not need it all day, only especially for special meetings where safety meetings are concerned. If you need to have a meeting for the insurance or whatever meetings are for the public, for the rest of the employees, you will most definitely need a sign language interpreter. But an all-day interpreter to just walk around with you, I don't think it's necessary unless the individual really, really needs it. It all depends on the individual, their needs. Basically, what they do when they're working, they'll either write back and forth, because most of them are just working alone. But if there is interaction with other people where they need to be communicating and relaying the messages, and that's where they request a sign language interpreter. We all work together we were talking about right now. All the agencies try to work and help each other. I've had a case where one client did need sign language interpreter, did not need a sign language interpreter. He needed assisted listening devices. So we met. What I normally do, I contact the entity, the employer, and we schedule an appointment to meet with them and discuss the matter at hand. We try to meet with the employee, who is the client with the hearing loss. And before that, we meet and discuss what are your needs exactly? What's your best effective communication? How can we help you? He or she will tell us, okay, I'm barely learning sign language, so sign language is not really an interpreter right now, but I do need assisted listening devices. My hearing aids just broke. I don't have money for the hearing aids, so I usually refer to DVR. Maybe DVR already has a case with them. And we meet the caseworker of DVR. I meet with them, and all of us work together and have a meeting with the employer and the employee and bring out the subject at hand, the matter at hand, and try to work together and see how we can best assist that individual. So again, it's on a one-on-one basis. Everybody's different, but if that individual does need a sign language interpreter and that's his first language, that's the main key. What's your main effective communication? Which way is it? Is it sign language, assisted listening device, hearing aids? It all depends on the individual's needs.
Perfect. That's a really good example. Thank you. Okay. So is there a formal process to ask an employer for assistive technology?
If they want to request assistive technology, well, first thing, the employee needs to, when they get hired, they need to disclose that they have a disability and let them know that I know whatever their needs are. If they are disclosing they have a hearing loss, the HR department will probably request proof of their hearing loss, and which is probably a copy of their audiogram. And then they can, an example would be, I have a teacher that works at a school in Las Cruces, and he started losing his hearing slowly, and now he can hear very well. So he requested an assisted listening device to be able to hear his students. And he had disclosed he had a hearing loss. So the HR department met with us, and we all see what kind of assisted listening device would help him. So he tried some of the devices we had at the office, and he liked the comfort, one of the devices that he really liked. So we tested it, and the employer said, okay, we'll order something, but they didn't order that one we had, they ordered something else. As long as it helps him, it doesn't have to be specifically the device he wants. As long as that device helps him, then they're covering the ADA law by being accessible to that client. So yeah, they helped him with that, and they helped him with getting an iPad for work as well, where he can caption meetings and stuff. So all you need to do is just request the accommodation once you disclose it and say, I'm really having problems with hearing, and request the accommodation.
That's great news. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see. The next question is, where are classes offered to learn sign language?
As I mentioned before, we do have a list, the fact sheet list. I can give you my email address, and I'll be happy to forward it to you. It has several places that you can call or maybe go online and get classes as well. Let me put my contact information on the sheet, on the chat.
Yes, that would be awesome. Let's see. Next question. Are sign language interpreters in demand? Could I qualify for tuition assistance if I want to learn sign language?
Almost, most definitely. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, there is a demand for sign language interpreters everywhere. Yes, and I can also send a fact sheet list regarding how to become a sign language interpreter. Because you do need to, in New Mexico, you need to be licensed to be a sign language interpreter. So I will be adding that in, on the chat list. I'm still looking for my contact information so I can forward it to you. And then ask me, I have the list, how to become a sign language interpreter. Where are the classes? If we don't provide, we don't pay for the classes, but maybe if you're hard of hearing and you want to learn sign language, I think DVR maybe can assist you with some classes with the fees of that. we'll look and see how we can help you if you have a disability and you want to learn sign language. But yeah, it is a sign language interpreter is most needed everywhere. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you for thinking of that if you want to become one.
Yes,
Yeah.
Susanna, to add to Susanna, what Susanna mentioned is we do have a few participants that are currently in a training program to become certified to be an ASL interpreter. And there's actually one that's from that's trying to be certified through the sign language through Mexico, which is different than ASL. So we have a few that are going through training right now. So definitely anybody that is interested in pursuing that as a career, it is an option that DVR can assist with. Except for that individual would have to be someone with a disability as well.
Awesome.
I just put my contact information on the chat if you all want to look at it.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So the next question is there employer training on accommodation compliance?
For the hard of hearing, if an employer is interested in learning more how to best serve or work with an individual that has hearing loss, we have, like I said, plenty of presentations and they're free through our program. All they need to do is contact us again, and we have what we call a presentation request form, and it has a list of all the trainings that we have, and we do have a staff member in charge of that, Rob, in charge of the presentations.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any other resources for something like that for employers?
Yes, ma'am. DVR can also assist with any type of education or awareness to employers in helping them to understand how to better serve any employees that are that do have disabilities, and just help guide them on the ADA and any other questions that they have in serving people with disabilities.
Perfect. That's great. The next question, is there any community support groups? I'm guessing they're meaning for, for folks that might have different types of disabilities and are trying to navigate the workforce system.
There's actually a variety of different support groups, and a lot of them can be as specific to that individual's disability. For instance, like people with autism or people who are deaf or people who are blind. And most of those resources are online. As far as local community support groups, I'm not that familiar with the specific ones within our area, but I know there are nationwide support groups for people with disabilities, and even specifically based on individual disabilities in particular.
Perfect. Okay, let's see if we have anything else in the Q&A. Oops. Oh, what did I do? Wrong button. Okay, let's see. Yes. Questions in the chat. Okay, what if I have already requested an accommodation from an employer and they have not responded?
Go ahead.
In that situation, the best thing to do is just to follow up with the HR department. I would start there. And then, because usually the HR department is going to be trained and educated overall on the ADA and the expectations and how those types of situations can be potentially a liability concern for the employer. So following up with HR would be the first step that an employee should do. If for whatever reason they still feel they're being discriminated against, then they can pursue a case with the EEOC at that point, which hopefully it never gets to that point, but that is a right of the individual to be able to pursue that.
Okay, thank you. Let's see.
On my case, I was gonna add to Eric's, if an individual with hearing loss is denied the accessibility, usually, even if when they go to the HR and they still say, no, you don't need that, that's when they contact us, the community advocate specialist. And we discuss the matter at hand again, because I've had that happen before where they say, no, you're not deaf, you can hear because you speak. Just because an individual speaks doesn't mean he's not hard of hearing or deaf. There's individuals that are deaf that do speak very well, and they think, oh, you're just acting, you just don't want to, whatever. So that's when they come to me or to us, the community advocate specialist, and we meet with the client. And then when I schedule an appointment or I call the employer and discuss the matter at hand and try to meet with them and say, he or she does have this hearing loss, and advocate for them and try to see how we can work together again, like I mentioned before, and see if, maybe they just don't understand ADA or don't know how to serve him, or maybe just think we don't have the money, but to understand, or we need to educate the employer that ADA, American Disability, does say that they have to be accessible. And then if they still deny it or say, no, we're not gonna do it, which I've never had that case happen to me, then that's when the client or the individual decides to either go to EEOC and or also report it to DOJ, Department of Justice.
Okay, very good feedback. Thank you. We have another question. If I don't want to do work experience with the youth program, what else can I do? I'm still insecure about working because of my disability.
So we do offer online classes for the participants. We do offer other services. We can help them get ready with their resumes if they're still insecure about going into the workforce. We can do mock interviews. We can also offer the ITAs to them, their tuition reimbursement. So it will, again, go case by case with their case manager. And going back to the question if there's youth groups, support groups, we do have local groups that the case managers can also talk to them about.
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you. And I don't see any more questions in the Q&A or in the chat. So I think we've got everything. And then just remember that even after this call, if there's more questions or anything that you want to follow up with us on, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Contact information is on the website, employinm.com. And of course, each of the presenters have put their information on the slides as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a wonderful call. We have an incredible level of expertise here. And so please be looking forward to the recording that will be posted of this on our EmployNM YouTube channel. It'll also be available on our landing page at employinm.com. We'll be updating those questions that did not get answered on that page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On there, we list all sorts of things that we're doing in the community, and also videos of just kind of snippets of what it is that we do, and different types of events and things that are going on within our community. You can learn more about New Mexico Workforce Connection at employinm.com as well, and you can follow us on Facebook. So thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we look forward to the next town hall meeting. And we just want to say a big thank you to all of our presenters for doing such a great job. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling.